greatest network for the strong, not the weak.
No escaping this. 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 No escaping this.
No one's ready to deal with us.
No escaping this. No escaping this. No escape.
No one's ready to deal with us.
No escaping this. No escaping this. No escape.
No one's ready to deal with us.
No escaping this. No escaping this. No escape.
No one's ready to deal with us.
You are listening to the end of the Finish podcast on Built for This Network, hosted by my man, HRap.
Now, if you understood this, maybe we could free ourselves. We are totally an unobligated people. We don't owe anybody anything anywhere, left or right. Everybody that has come among us have come among us to exploit us, and they have exploited us successfully. Now, let us begin at the beginning, because African people stood alone at the beginning of the world and started humanity and started beginning as basic as tool making, as basic as making a bucket, a basket, as basic as learning how to use fire, how to bring down animals. Started all of this in the area to the south. When you look at and visualize a map of Africa, you have to visualize the Nile River and realize that that river is like the womb of a woman. And out of this womb came a series of children. Let us not call it civilization. White people have so misused the word civilization until the word has lost its meaning. Let us call it a culture. Came a series of cultures that developed and moved down that river a great cultural highway to establish a way of life and to create a way of life, religions, and history that is going to be so rich that mankind will steal from them from then on. And the rate of the culture of that river will change the world for all time to come. Now, when a people are launched from their cultural glory, living in another people's country, or living in a country ruled over by another people, worshiping a God chosen for them by another people, worshiping a God that don't look like them, wearing clothes not of their design, living in a culture that don't belong to them. They live with warped souls and a lack of meaning. This summer in West Africa, I had to remind some of the people with me that you have been here 2 weeks now. You haven't seen any children fighting. You haven't heard anybody call anybody a bitch. You haven't heard the word ML all the time you've been here. You haven't seen friction among people. And this is because these Africans are in the cultural incubator that created them. In the United States, you are in conflict. You are in conflict, and the people that brought you here are in conflict. Because this container does not fit your soul. It does not fit the soul of the one who brought you here. It does not fit your soul. You will never be at peace in an alien land where you must compete for everything. You must compete for your bread, you must compete for your apartment, you must compete for your man, you must compete for your woman, compete for your water, everything. You've got to compete with somebody for. Nothing comes automatic. Nothing is built into the culture itself. You came out of a culture where certain things are assured by virtue of coming out of the culture. You didn't have to fight for it. Because if you obey the laws that govern the culture, the material resources of the culture, based on your needs, came to you automatically. These were things of a socialist nature that existed in a culture, not only before Karl Marx was born, but before Europe was born.
Thank you for tuning in. This is your man HRap coming at you live and direct as I do every week, twice a week, every week for the last 5 years. This is Built for This Network on Spreaker.com, as well as theendofthebench.com or the End of the Bench podcast hosted by yours truly. Build and Destroy, where I attempt to build up the community, destroy the lies and the propaganda that surround our community. Lies and propaganda that surround our community are, in essence, destroying us. So, what I do is provide information. I provide, hopefully, a spiritual uplifting to people who listen, people who tune in, so you can tell a friend to tune in if you need to hear something positive about you. There's nothing negative about us. I keep telling y'all, we do not have a patent on negativity, crime, dismay, terror, or anything of that nature. We just don't have it. Sorry. Doesn't go that way, okay? So, when you think that, you believe that. You believe that, then you move forward with your life, and then you destroy yourself. And that's just the way it goes. But what I'm going to do is use every ounce of me, every week, twice a week, until I die, to make sure we are in a better situation, mentally, spiritually, and physically. Now, again, thank you for tuning in. This is a podcast, as I tell you every week. You cannot miss anything. This is being recorded, and it will be played back on YouTube. The End of the Bench host, End of the Bench, Build and Destroy on YouTube. THAENDOFDABENCH, hosted by HRap, Build and Destroy on YouTube. And the main hub is Built for This Network on Spreaker.com. You can go to YouTube for Built for This Network, Apple Podcasts, Built for This Network, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, or wherever you download your podcasts. please download, share, tell a friend. If you're listening on Spreaker and or YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification so you'll know when I come on to uplift you. This is a pro-black podcast. It's not anti-anything. And if you think it's anti, I'm not going to discuss it with you. If you don't have the ability to listen and ingest and accept what I'm saying, that's really your issue. I'm not, I used to, and try to explain it, but I'm not doing that anymore. That's just your issue. What I do is acknowledge my family. If this is the first time you've listened to this podcast, I acknowledge my family. With my family, without my family, there is no me. My mother, my parents, both extensions, and everybody in between, right? Everybody connected to the Pollard family. Whitmore, Turner, Cotton, Battle, Harper, Bailey, Shaw, Thompson, Chris, Lansdowne, Liggins, Duncan, and you know me, my mother, my fathers, my brothers and sisters. We are the Williams clan, and we are always in the building. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. It is a pleasure to get you this information, right? Now, I have a special guest coming on. He's an author. He's going to provide you an insight on what made him chase his dream, how he chased his dream, and everything in between. In between then and now, I will give you my traditional history lesson. Something about our community that most people don't know. And the purpose of this is when you find out something that is connected to you inherently, it makes you stronger. If you find out your mother was a superhero, you'd be waiting for your superpowers to kick in, or your father. So when I give you these history lessons, what I do is hope to inspire you to greatness. Because if we don't inspire each other to greatness, we'll never get there, right? Now, like I said, this is how we're gonna do this every week. Now I want to acknowledge the people who are here in the background. If you're in the background, you choose not to come into the chat room and engage, understand, salute. Thank you for being a part of the show. But I want to shout out to my man Big Illinois, Tiki, DJ Mad Knox, my brethren on Built for This Network, and so forth, so far. Yeah, that's it. I got my man Steve Lyden. I got Kathleen, Sister Kathleen, my Chicago sister listening. And there's a million other people listening. It is what it is right there. That's who I know. Now. Let's just be honest. Let's be clear. We have issues in our community. There's no way around it. And we can do this one or two ways. We can go, the man is holding me back, and the man is doing this, and the man is doing that. And we can ignore our responsibilities as human beings to uplift each other when we see each other trip, slip, fall. Look, these pitfalls that we fall into or walk over and fall into or what have you, treat them like ice. When you see somebody slip and fall on ice, you do your best to assist them and lift them up. That's what we're going to do going forward. What I'm going to do is start off in the entertainment world. Again, I'm going to violate one of my cardinal rules. I try my best not to talk about people. But some of these people have forced me to bring up their names. This week, I am going to talk about my brother, Timberland. Super producer, one of the most entertaining sound makers. He's made hits and put people in places that more than likely they'll never come to. The reason I'm bringing up Timberland is because we fall subject to a lot of things in our community. A lot of our brothers and sisters who are of celebrity status come in front of us and they say, hey, I'm going to galvanize the troops. I'm down for the cause. And they have ulterior motives. And then we get left holding the bag because we are doing our very best to support each other on all levels. Salute to my brother Patar, who just came into the chat room. Thank you for the support. It's always good to see you. Now, Timberland is the latest brother to do this. Now, recently, I got DJ Ramal as well. Recently, we have had Ice Cube. We've had Byron Allen, and now Timberland. And they attempted to galvanize the community and push people in one direction. And again, we get left holding nothing. Nobody benefits from this support that we give these celebrities. And I'm calling foul. I'm calling foul. No, look, as the young people say, it's time to have receipts. If you are going to stand up for our community and support people, what I'm gonna need you to do is do some background checks first. And then I need whatever cause you're standing up for. There's no need to try to reinvent the wheel. Find somebody who's on that cause and use your celebrity to, again, as I stated at the beginning, we're going to use these situations as a person falling on ice. Your celebrity can lift up a situation and make it powerful if you truly want to help the people in our community. If you want to fight against police brutality, you look up to Sister Kathleen, who's listening, and you support her. You put your celebrity behind her. And when you put your celebrity behind her, it will uplift her platform and then uplift her platform and put us in a better situation, right? Because she's already done the legwork. Byron Allen didn't do that. Ice Cube didn't do that. And now our brother Timberland is not doing it either, if you ask me. Our brother Timberland is in charge. Him and brother Swiss Beats, I think, created this thing in the midst of the pandemic that gave us nothing but entertainment. It's called Versus. And it's a celebration of music from two different parties. It's almost like a battle, but it's not. It's a celebration of both people. We love it. The people who love music, they love it. Man, it's good to see the Gladys Knights and the Dionne Warwicks and the Patti LaBelle's and the DMX and the Snoop Dogg's and whoever else has been on that who you've liked. The brothers from the Wu-Tang Clan, the Earth, Wind, and Fire, and the Isleys. We all loved it. And we support that man in his attempt to entertain us during a difficult time. We loved it. We supported it. Go Timberland. But Timberland is still trying to promote this brand. And as he promotes this brand, he asks one of the artists that he helped publicize, make famous, Justin Timberlake. He was one of the Backstreet Boys, and he was a Disney actor, and he was doing all this other stuff. And he went to Timberland because Timberland was the hottest producer in the world. And Timberland made him a superstar musically and all over entertainment, right? So he wants him to come on Versus, and he gets angry. Well, he gets disappointed because Timberlake, I guess at this point, hasn't agreed to do it. And he was like, he made this statement. Timberlake needs to give back to the culture because of everything we've done for him. Shout out to my brother Chris Chrisman. Thank you for the support. No, Timberland, you're wrong. You're wrong because you chose to deal with Timberlake. We've seen this time and time again where people from other communities stick their face in the midst of popular culture, urban culture, hip hop, or whatever you want to call it, pop culture in the black sphere. We see it all the time. They stand there, they become wildly popular, elevate their status worldwide, and then they go, hey, we're done. Pink, the boy, he's just pure rock, not Kid Rock. People don't even remember. He was super duper hip hop in the beginning. Now he's super duper Trump supporter. And people continue to do this over and over again. But I'm not knocking Timberland for chasing the dollars because, as y'all say, it's about the bag. It's about the bag, the bag, the bag. But if you are going to stand up for the culture, maybe you should be satisfied with, hey, I have $30 million. I don't want this extra $10 million because this dude is just going to abuse the culture and really never get back to it because that's what continues to happen. Does everybody participate in that? No. Is everybody a culture vulture? No. But by and large, when you are coming from the Disney platform and you're coming from the pop culture platform, and next thing you know, you show up in our culture, more than likely you are a culture vulture. And do I get upset with vultures? No, I don't, because they're trying to survive as well. But I do get disappointed with things like my brother Timberland. Stand up here and say, you owe the culture. Because they don't. You owe the culture. Those very same songs that you gave to Justin Timberlake and made him a megastar, you could have given them to a Trey Songz or somebody like that and boosted them up. And then he would have naturally given back to the culture. So no, you're not going to galvanize us again behind one of these fictitious situations. And everybody, yeah, hey, Timberlake. No, we're not going to do that. How about this, Mr. Timberland? you do your very best to uplift the people that are in the culture, that host the culture, and then at that point, they'll naturally give back and you don't have these problems. In the beginning, you saw the clip of Dr. John Henry Clark, Pan-Africanist, and he said, we don't owe anybody, no one owes us anything. Because we've been talking about Black Wall Street. Next week, next Saturday, in 168 hours, I will be in Dallas, Texas to celebrate Juneteenth. And if we're going to bring up these things like Juneteenth and Black Wall Street, and we need to get it back in order, look, our ancestors 100 years ago created several towns throughout the United States of America. Liberty City down in Miami, Wilmington, North Carolina, Peoria, Illinois, Southside Chicago, Illinois, West LA, and other towns throughout the United States of America with the assistance of no one but each other. So if they could do it 100 years ago, you can do it now. So no more complaining. What we're going to do is galvanize the community and move forward and become successful without excuses and without bromites and, oh man, let's rally the troops and hate them. No, we're not hating anybody. We're not shunning anybody. What we're going to do is support each other. And if you put all that energy into destroying or hating or getting rid of these people, into loving yourself, all of a sudden you're successful and you win. So, Brother Timberland, we're not doing that anymore, brother. Thank you for attempting him to make him do that and putting pressure on him. And by the way, you're doing this next album. You're going in two different directions. You need to do this, but you're still working with him. Nope. We're not going to get behind doing anything, hating Timberlake. We more than likely, by and large, the culture wasn't going to buy it anyway. So what you're going to do is, how about this? It's a bunch of young people throughout the United States of America, in Virginia, where you're from, in New York, Los Angeles, California, throughout the South, wherever, that look like you, that you can help blow them up. How about putting out like Pete Rock did, a Timberland mixtape, and you showcase young people from the culture so they can help the culture, and how about you groom them to give back to the culture? What a novel idea. But we're not doing that anymore, Timberland. Thanks for that, Tim. Thanks for the attempt. But we ain't galvanized into nothingness anymore. No more excuses. We have enough energy to uplift each other. That's it. Now, on a better note, if you are my age, I'm 50, soon to be 51. If you're of my age group or somewhere within that Generation X situation, when you grew up, you used to get up on Saturday mornings and watch cartoons. And used to watch Schoolhouse Rock and things of that nature. And a lot of us figured out I'm just a bill and 3 is the magic number and all those kinds of things. You learn your 3 multiplication tables, and you learn how laws work, and you learn a fraction of history, because in the United States of America, we have an issue with teaching the entire story. But that's another conversation that we're gonna kick that can down the road, and when we catch up to it, we'll have it. Shout out to former President Barack Obama and his lovely wife, Michelle Obama, Chicago's own. They are rebooting on Netflix as of July 1st, Schoolhouse Rock, with a more urban situation. And they're going to be teaching civics and history and things of that nature. Therefore, there will be no excuse. There will be no excuse for you not knowing, because just like we know how bills were made, and I remember, I don't know if they still do it, when I graduated from 8th grade, you had to write out the preamble to the Constitution. I had that song memorized in my head, so I didn't have to learn a whole lot. So guess what? Now, what they're going to be doing is civics, but civics is the number one thing today. This is why, look, we can get mad at the man, and the man is holding me back, and they're gonna get me. We can do the boogeyman conversation, and that's cool. I participated in far too many, and I was the leader of the conversation. So I'm not gonna act like that's above. I'm above that, because I'm not. I've done it. I may do it again in the near future, like in about 90 minutes. But what we're gonna do is this: we're not gonna do that anymore. We are going to, look, most of us don't even have passports. So we don't even need to start having this conversation. Man, I'm going to leave America because I'm sick of this. Y'all ain't got passports. A lot of people ain't even been out of their state, right? But what we're going to do, we are going to use information like this Schoolhouse Rock thing that's on Netflix. Y'all all got Netflix. I don't want to hear that. You got 5 states. You got Netflix. Y'all using somebody's password. Y'all can watch it. I don't want to hear the nonsense, right? But What we're going to do is this, man. We're going to learn the rules of the game. And then what we're going to do is, as we learn the rules of the game, we're going to rig the game for us. Because you got people like Tom Cotton. I wish I was in the land of Cotton, because that's the way he talks. And Mitch McConnell and those type of guys. And they're doing everything they can to make it. I told you, they're trying to take it back to the 1850s. And not a problem. If they're going to take it back to the 1850s, what we're going to do is mentally take it back to 1850s too, and galvanize everybody who was righteous, whether you are from the culture or you're an ally of the culture, and we're going to move forward. We're not going to do all this. No. But he said, and we said, no. What you're going to do is educate yourself. And I'm going to assist you. What we need to do, I need everybody who's listening to start registering the people in their community to vote. We need to find somebody to vote for, because the D's and the R's tell us KMA, if you know what that means. The D's and the R's are crooked. And they tell us, they've been telling us the KMA for the last 150 years. And they've been doing a very good job at it. Because if you got two brothers arguing and you side with one brother and say that brother, and all he got to do is when they lay down at night, say, we tricked them again. And that's what they've been doing. So what we need to do is find people who support us, who support righteousness, who supports fairness, who is not part of the machine. Like, for example, when Barack Obama was elected, people who are white nationalists, white terrorists, white supremacists, same thing, it's a synonym. They created a party called the Tea Party. Then we need to create the We Party, because we are sick of this, whether you're poor, disenfranchised, black, white, orange, gray, whatever you are, Asian, African, South American, North American, Central American, European. If you're sick of being taken advantage of, join the We Party. I just made that up, but I don't know what. We need to do something. Because when you do this, what you do is put yourself in a position to have people who support you and defend you and your rights, just like Tom Cotton. He'll lie at the drop of a dime and ask a half question, so you can get you ask a yes or no question, and then see, I told you I was right. No, it's not that way. But we can sit back and wait for the people with the D's and the R's who are pro discrimination, pro hate, pro disenfranchising poor people, pro defunding schools, and pro supporting the police to destroy us and things of that nature. They're pro everything that's against us, everything that's righteous. Or we can find people in our community who are busting their behinds to do the right thing, and we can get behind them and put our money, our time, and our hearts, bodies, and souls into those people. Enough of arguing, man. It's no more. The time to argue about nonsense is over. We can point fingers, and we can get mad and see Obama didn't do this, and Oprah is that, and this lady is this, and no more. No, we don't have the energy. We don't have the bandwidth. We don't have the mental dexterity to do that anymore, nor do we have the time. Because people who are on the other side of righteousness, they never sleep. They never sleep. And they will sell out they'll give away their oldest kids to maintain this power. Their youngest kids, their wives, they'll sacrifice everything so they can stay in power. So we must be the exact same way when it comes to being righteous and supporting good, honest people who have our best interest in mind. Otherwise, you will perish. Organization is the key. Thank you, Trade Naturals. Please support Trade Naturals. All natural hair, skin, and body and relaxation products, and support. Salute to Rhonda as well. Thank you, Rhonda. This is what we have to do, man. We do. Look, organize some type of voter registration drive. I'm telling you, we need. I'm not doing this because the ancestors did it. I'm doing it because if voting didn't mean anything, I've never seen anybody try to take the shoes off a homeless man. You know why? Because they're not worth anything. So if they're trying their best to take something from us, obviously that thing is worth something. If that thing is worth something, look into how valuable it is and make sure you don't lose it. That's the key. That's the key. Otherwise, you will perish. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about disenfranchised people. And you can make it seem like it's a black and a white thing, a gray and orange thing, or whatever you want to do. But if you cannot afford $100,000, you can afford $30,000 to put your kids through high school, and $100,000 to put your kids through college, you are exactly who I'm talking to. Now, I am talking to my tribe first, but you can listen and you can be a part of it. I'm just letting you know. These people are working overtime to destroy you, but people like this program that Barack and Michelle Obama putting out in Schoolhouse Rock, you continue to listen to me, support me, have your friends, tell a friend to tune in and support, subscribe, hit that like button, hit that like button, and then we can get things accomplished little bit by little bit, because guess what? Places like Tulsa, Greenwood, Tulsa, 30 blocks. It's not a lot of people. Liberty City, 20-some blocks. Not a lot of people. West LA, South Side Chicago, not a whole lot of people. West Side Chicago as well. It was a bastion of black excellence at one point. You know, when you go to the West Side of Chicago now, you don't see it, but it was. So we must get our acts together and get these things in order. Support the people who are supporting you, and then galvanize and uplift them. One of the people that I want to salute while we're doing this is our brother, Reverend William Barber. Now, we got an act on the table, S1, and our ancestor, can't think of his name right now, I'm trying to blank. Good Trouble. I can't think of his name right now, but anyway, we got two bills on the table. That's one. The Voting Rights Act, we need to maintain the power in that. Again, if voting didn't count, why are they doing everything they can to take it away from you? Now, you have a guy, Joe Manchin, who has literally said, screw poor people. He really said, screw black people, but I'm going to encompass everybody. He said, screw disenfranchised people. Because if you are a politician and you're saying, voting isn't important, what you're doing as a politician is you're choosing who votes for you instead of us choosing who represents us. So our brother, our elder, William J. Barber, has reignited the Poor People's Campaign. If you're not familiar with the Poor People's Campaign, look up this one guy. You may know his name. John Lewis is the dude I was talking about. One guy, you may know his name. I can't think of his name. MLK, Martin Luther, our ancestor, the great Dr. Martin Luther King. At the end of his life, he realized it wasn't about civil rights. It was about human rights. And he started what is called the Poor People's Campaign. Our brother, Reverend William J. Barber, has reignited that. And he has, look, I'm not real big on the marching, but he and a bunch of people are going to Joe Manchin's office and protesting and bringing it to his attention that, hey, it's not just people that look like HRap and me, as in the words of William J. Barber, Reverend William J. Barber, and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Stokely Carmichael and those kinds of guys. It's not just us. It's people from the Asian community. It's people from the Caucasian community. It's people from the Latino community. And we're going to come to your face, people like you and Mitch McConnell, and we will force you guys to realize that this is serious business. And this is where we need to be putting our money where our mouths are and supporting brothers like him. Supporting brothers like that. Another thing, it's this thing by the name of the 5 Calls app. The 5 Calls app is an extremely important app to me and you. See, the session has ended with Congress. 5 Calls apps allows you to call 5 people in the government in your area. It could be the mayor, it could be the governor, it could be a state senator, it could be a state representative, and your U.S. senator. How about that? We need to follow our sister Stacey Abrams' leadership. Call these people. They are leaving Washington, D.C. They are coming back to your community, and it's time to shake hands and kiss babies and make promises. And now it's time for you to make demands. They are civil servants. Servant, meaning they are to be told what to do. They are coming back home now. The session is ended. This is when we, as our sister Stacey Abrams says, we need to call these people every single day. If you are a member of a church, repeat what I'm saying. Download the 5 Calls app. Contact your mayor. Contact your state representative. Contact your state senator, U.S. senator, and government, and put pressure on them about this Voting Rights Act. Again, if voting is not important, please explain to me why in the heck are they attempting to take it away from you? Because it is important. Power is in voting. Power is in numbers. Power is in organization. And as I continue to tell you, we continue to vote for people and wait for them to do something. That is not how politics work. This is a forced situation. And if you and everybody, if it's 200 people at your church, just imagine if 200 people called their state representative Monday, and 200 people called their state representative Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. At some point, that dude or woman must get up off their behind and understand this is a serious situation. And if we all galvanize in one direction, they all must move the way we move. And that's it. Or we have told them, you don't notice. See, here's the thing. Politics is a job that more than likely nobody that I'm listening to will have that job. But if you have that job, it is your job to maintain that job. If you're going to maintain that job, the only way to maintain that job is to do this. Keep a smile on my face. Or at least keep a state of mind of uplifting in my mind. But if you're not doing that and you're handing out turkeys and you're coming to the church and we continue to think, hey, man, see, I was talking to some good people recently and I was like, hey, man, isn't it time for us to pressure the churches into teaching history of our people so our young people understand how powerful they are? And they were like, hey, man, let's go mess with the church's charter. And, you know, there's no, it's not, because the Catholic Church funds history for Catholic people who follow Catholicism. And the Greeks have Greek church, and other cultures have that, and it's funded by the Catholic Church, and that's not a problem. So why aren't these Methodists and Baptists and any other cultures that are inculcated into our community who support churches, why can't they do it? See, we have to stop giving out reasons why we can't do something and just do it. We cannot figure out how to lose before we win. Salute to my man Steve Lott, and salute to my brother Joel from Houston. We must stop figuring out how to lose before we even start to win. See, we've been down for a very long, we've been in purgatory for a very long time. So sometimes when you're on your knees, if you just sit up, you think you win it. No, it's time to stand up. And get this, when you got people like TD Jakes, 10,000 people every Sunday, 10,000 people. Just imagine if those people gave up $25 to a history program and how powerful our young people would be after learning that there's more black people that did things than George Washington Carver, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and those type of people. Just imagine. Because see, like, I wasn't going to talk about this, but I am. Like, this is what I want our people to stop doing. Please hear me. Listen to the words that I'm saying. Hear me. Don't just listen. Hear what I'm saying. It's a difference. A lot of these young people out here doing this PPP loan thing, and that's they're taking money that a lot of people don't think belongs to them. I'm not here to judge anybody. But how about this? Stop getting on TV and saying they're going to jail. They're going to jail. They're going to jail. How about you encourage some of those young people to invest that money into your community? And then you'll have the ability to enhance lives. I'm not telling you stealing is wrong. Right. I'm just saying, instead of condemning somebody, how about holding that person's hand and elevating them and putting them in a position that if they turn that money into a couple $100,000, a couple $1 million, they'll be able to pay their PPP loan back, and then they don't have to have an issue. Because I'm quite sure if you get money and give it back, I don't know if the government going to send you to jail, especially if you have a revenue generating thing. And if you have a revenue generating thing, you can afford an attorney, and an attorney get you a better situation. And now you have employment in our community. Harvard did a study 13 years ago. We only give 2 cents to each dollar that we earn back to our community. They said if we did 10, every business in America, which at that time was 1.4 million entrepreneurs, if we gave 10 cents back to those entrepreneurs, they can all hire somebody, and that would reduce unemployment to 0. So how about if we start encouraging our young people, instead of investing their time and mental into nefarious activities, put that same energy in something positive, and we help them. Like we become a hedge fund, we become VCs, we become angels, and hey, that 10,000 people at TDJ's church or Bill Winston's church on the west side of Chicago or on the south side of House of Hope, those 10,000 people that go there, find people, you go there and get you an angel investment group. 10,000 people put up $10 each. Oh, damn, it's $100,000. These young people create something that enhances our community instead of condemning them. Oh, you're going to jail. How is that helping a young person? It does not help him going to jail. He may be on the wrong path because people who are smart as you, who are like you, who are condemning them, have not uplifted them. And they just told him they was going to jail. So why would I listen to you and you're telling me that my life isn't worth it? I don't know, because I wouldn't. But again, let's stop judging these young people. Let's stop supporting these young people. And supporting them is not just giving them money. It is having conversations and not talking at them. It's talking to them and supporting them instead of condemning them. How about that? What a keen idea that every child in the neighborhood is my child. Your child is my child. Because, you know, we all run around here talking about, what's up, brother? What's up, sister? Well, treat those kids like they're your sister's kids and your brother's kids. How about that? How about that? How crazy would that be? Insane, right? With that being said, what I'm going to do is history time. And then I got a special guest coming on, my man, HRap. He's an author. He's written 3 books. He's put himself in a position to be successful, and we are going to help him be successful. We're going to purchase his books, and we're going to help him. We're going to listen to a story. He's going to tell you how he became successful. But before we do this, what I'm going to do is introduce you to somebody in history. And this person in history may inspire you to do something. This is a woman, and she's going to inspire you to do something. I'll be back shortly with my brother, HRap, and then his own like a pot of neck bones. That rhymed, didn't it?
Welcome to Black Excellence and Abundance Channel. Bessie Coleman, born January 26, 1892, was an African-American civil agent. She was the first black woman to hold a pilot's license, and she achieved her international pilot's license in 1928. Born to a family of sharecroppers in Texas, Coleman studied at secondary school and went on to attend one-term of college at Langston University. Born to a family of sharecroppers in Texas, Coleman attended a small segregated school, and she went on to attend one-term of college at Langston University. She developed an early interest in flying, but at that time, African Americans and women had no flight training opportunities in the United States, so she saved up money and obtained sponsorship to go to France for flight training. She then became a high-profile pilot in early but also dangerous air shows in the United States, and hoped to start a school for African American flyers. Her pioneering role was an inspiration to early pilots in the African American community. In 1916, at the age of 24, Coleman moved to Chicago, Illinois, where she lived with her brothers. In Chicago, she worked as a manicurist at the White Sox barbershop. There, she heard stories from pilots returning home from World War I and flying during the war. She took a second job at a chili parlor to save money in hopes of becoming a pilot. As American flight schools of the time admitted neither women nor blacks, Robert S. Abbott, founder of the Chicago Defender, encouraged her to study abroad. Abbott publicized Coleman's quest for newspaper, and she received financial sponsorship from banker Jesse Binger and the Defender. Determined to learn how to fly, Bessie refused to take no for an answer. Coleman took a French language class at the Berlitz School in Chicago and then traveled to Paris on November 20th, 1920, so she could earn a pilot license. She learned to fly in a Newport AU-2 monoplane a steering system that consisted of vertical stick, thickness of a baseball. With the vertical stick in front of the pilot and a rudder a bar under the pilot's feet. On June 15, 1921, Coleman became the first woman of African American descent to earn aviation pilot's license. She also became the first person of African American descent to earn an international aviation license from the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale. That's French, y'all. Determined to polish her skills, Coleman spent the next 2 months taking lessons from a French-based pilot in Paris, and in September 1921, she sailed for America. She became a media sensation when she returned to the U.S. Bessie is quoted as saying, "The air is the only place free from prejudices. I know we had no pink gators, neither men nor women, and I knew the race needed to be represented among its most important lives. So I thought it my duty to risk my life to learn aviation." Quote, Bessie. With the age of commercial flight still a decade or more in the future, Coleman quickly realized that in order to make a living as a civilian aviator, she would have to become a barnstorming stunt flyer, performing dangerous tricks in the then still early technology of airplanes for paying audiences. But to succeed in this highly competitive arena, she would need advanced lessons and a more extensive repertoire. Returning to Chicago, Coleman could not find anyone willing to teach her, so in February 1922, she sailed again to Europe. She spent the next 2 months in France, completing an advanced course in aviation, and then left for the Netherlands to meet Anthony Walker, one of the world's most distinguished aircraft designers. She also traveled to Germany, where she visited the Walker Corporation and received additional training from one of the company's chief pilots. She then returned to the United States to launch her career exhibition flying. Queen Bess, as she was known, was a highly popular draw for the next 5 years. Invited to important events and often interviewed by newspapers, she was admired by both blacks and whites. She primarily flew Curtiss JM-4 jetty biplanes and other aircraft, which had been Army surplus aircraft left over from the war. She made her first appearance in an American air show on September 3rd, 1922, at an event honoring veterans of the all-black 369th Infantry Regiment of World War I. On many of her shows, Coleman was billed as the world's greatest woman flight, and many of the shows featured aerial displays by 8 other American ace pilots and a jump by the black parachutist Hubert Jr. The thrill of stunt flying and adoration for cheering fans was only part of Coleman's dreams. Coleman never lost sight of her childhood vow to one day amount to something. Committed to promoting aviation and combating racism, Coleman spoke to audiences across the country about the pursuit of aviation and goals of African Americans. She absolutely refused to participate in aviation events that prohibited the attendance of African Americans. Ms. Bessie Coleman has been the inspiration of many in the aviation field for 100 years. Mae Jameson, the first African American female passenger, was also inspired by this, and she says, quote, "It is tempting to draw parallels to me in this calling, but I point to this calling and say, here is a woman, a being who exemplifies and serves as a model for all humanity, the very definition of strength, dignity, courage, integrity, and unity." Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Remember, thou art rich.
Thank you for tuning in. This is HRap B, host of the Intervention Podcast on Built for This Network. Well, we, for the strong and not the weak, this is Build and Destroy, the end of the bench. I am your host, and this is my guest, Jay Jerome. Thank you, my brother, for coming on and sharing your greatness. What's happening?
How you doing, man?
I'm good.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Okay, man. It is a mutually beneficial situation. I get to get your greatness and build our community, and you got a seat at the table permanently. You worked your behind off your whole life to be a starter. Now you're at the end of the day. But I want to introduce you, man. This is my man, Jay Jerome. He's an author. And not only do we need people we need a million more sisters to be Bessie Coleman. They can't be the first, but they can be pilots. We need a million more brothers, especially brothers, because a lot of sisters read. And we don't put the emphasis on reading. And I'm a personal believer in reading triggers creativity. It creates ingenuity. So what I want to do is I want you to introduce yourself to my supporters and the people who are in the background and the people who are on the Spreaker.com side. And I want them to know who you are so we can move forward. Before I do that, I got the captain of the forecast just into the room. My main man, Ben from BS3, here in the building. Thank you for the support. Introduce yourself and let's get it going.
All right. Well, thank you. Jay Jerome, that's my pen name as a fiction author. And I'll share, I'm Jesse Turner. So, I'm living on both sides of the road. I'm in corporate America, in financial industry. I'm a father of 3, been married going on 20 years next year. 6 people in my house. My dad is living with me. We just all doing it together. My wife is in education, and she's doing some things, publishing books as well. But, I plan to deliver to audiences fiction books going forward, a couple series and, entertainment on one side, but, I will focus on, overcoming challenges in life, in my fiction books. But of course, it'll be entertainment with suspense and thriller. That's my goal. But just been working in corporate, worked my way up in banking, got my bachelor's and master's degree, but always had a passion for writing. Mm-hmm. Like you said, reading breeds inspiration, and I like to read and write. Back in school, I always like to say, with math, I count money, but you ask me to write, I'll write you a 20-page paper as fast as I can. Mm-hmm. I just enjoy it. It's therapy for me, and I like to share what I know, share my knowledge.
Man, thank you for the introduction. That's awesome. Now, with that being said, man, what were the things that got you into reading and writing? Because me personally, I always thank my sisters. I got 2 older sisters. I'm the youngest of 3 of my mother's children. I got brothers. I'm from a blended family, but directly in my house, I got 2 sisters. They got tired of reading to me, and they taught me how to read in Head Start. So I walked into Head Start knowing how to read, and then my mother took it to the next level. But she created these books. I had an imaginary friend. A lot of my friends gonna use that against me, but so what? It was 45 years ago. Right. It was 46 years ago. You can't hold it against me. But I did. I have an imaginary friend named Buggy, and my mother had some books created. So me and Buggy would go on these adventures. That's how I started to read. And my cousin Craig, he was a comic book addict, and he would give them to me, and I started reading those. What was your path in regards to writing, reading, and uplifting your spirituality? I mean, your mind, body, and soul. I'm listening.
Yeah, it was a few things. So, growing up in Chicago, and, I started with school first. We always had to learn America's history and whatnot, So to me, learning that, it served a purpose. I need to pass these classes. But when they introduced in the writing and reading classes of different novels and poems, that's when it sparked me, okay, on this side of the road, I'm going to make sure I learn the Constitution and everything so I can get my A's and pass my classes. But I was really interested in different novels and everything. One of the early ones that caught my eye that we had to read back in grammar school was A Mice and Men. And it's controversial, but a lot of people, really love the story, and I'm one of those because I look at the relationships in that story, and that kind of provided me the passion to want to write. And then taking a poetry class, I went to Lindblom on the south side, of Chicago, and we had a poetry class. I took that, and it inspired me to write. Then I got into wanting to write songs and everything. That was one side of it, and then another side was on my mom's side, my grandmother was a Jehovah's Witness, and she led a lot of the family into that path. What she used to do, we used to go to Memphis. She lived in Memphis, Tennessee, and all the kids would go down south in the summer.
I remember that.
So, in my mind, back in the 70s, the parents were up in Chicago just getting it in, right? Because they sent all the kids down south. But with my grandmother, she didn't just preach to us and make us go to the congregation. She would sit down with us, and I don't know if a lot of people know that those books, they had illustrations and everything, and she would read them and show us, and basically they take the stories from the Bible and they make illustrations and everything. So
Vacation Bible School.
Yeah. So my grandmother, and then what we had to learn in grammar school and high school, and then getting the inspiration from the novels and poems, that sparked me.
And see, you know what, that thing right there that you just said, taking you out of the environment that you are on, that's the only thing this gang versus that gang, these 8 girls, these 12 boys, this softball, this basketball, and they took you someplace that you didn't want to be until you got there Saturday morning. By Tuesday, you had 12 more friends. And that's the thing that is missing in our community. And it's really the thing. I walked down that same path. I didn't have to go down south, but I was in that Vacation Bible School, and we used to go on trips, and it was the same illustrations. And you're right, it sparks a creativity. It helps your imagination, and when you can imagine anything, whether it be like me, I wanted to be either the Hulk or Spider-Man. If you can imagine Brian as the Spider-Man, well, I'm gonna figure out a way to get this Hulk juice, and I'm gonna blow up too. When you can imagine how to create something as well, and that's why I really was glad when Ron introduced me to you, because you tapped into that and you put it on paper. What was the first thing you wrote, and what was it about?
All right, so man, the funny thing about writing, and I don't know if other authors, self-published authors, can relate. You write so much stuff, but you don't finish everything. You don't finish everything. The first thing I wrote were songs and poems back in high school. That's when I kind of got serious about wanting to write. Had aspirations of writing songs for famous singers and everything. And I like to tell everybody, me and my brother, we got a book of songs that we put in an envelope and postmarked to do the old-fashioned copyright, and it's still sealed. So maybe one day still, I'm only 42, I might get those songs to Usher or somebody, I don't know. But,
hey, man. It's a possibility.
Because when I grew up, it was that influx of all these R&B, and they were all successful. Jodeci, Boyz II Men, Brian McKnight, had all these guys, and they all were doing good on the radio. So that's the music I gravitated to, right after, old school hip hop and everything, and then the gangster rap was coming in, but I was always an R&B guy, So I kind of started writing like that, and then that led to inspiration of writing poems and everything. But, a couple of poems were first, and then I started to write my first, wannabe novel. And I'll be honest, Priscilla is out and worldwide, but it's not my first novel. That one's still not done. You see what I mean? So full circle there, inspiration hits you at different times.
Yes.
And then you stop and you start. But yeah, my first one is not done. It's a story that kind of, simulates my life growing up in Inglewood, but not exactly. It's about a boy that goes through some things similar to Priscilla and overcomes. But I'll finish that. It's coming.
Man, that's what's up. Who was so? You mentioned poetry, which is it's the bane of the soul, if you ask me. When you read and listen to poetry, you listen to somebody who's willing to expose their soul to you. They open up their chest and their soul pours out. Who are some of your favorite poets? Man,
I have to be honest. I don't have any favorites. Over time, I just listen to different different ones. And that was more in the high school realm for me. I actually, gravitated to music more.
Oh, okay,
Music,
okay.
yeah, music. That's what grabbed me the most, man.
Okay.
Music and listening to different singers and everything. I can sing a little bit, but I ain't good like I want to be. So that's why I guess I was writing.
That's
So I
what's up.
started writing
Okay.
songs.
Who's some of your favorite songwriters?
Oh, by far, Brian McKnight's number one on my list because he wrote everything that came out of his mouth. He wrote for other people. Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Babyface, of course. An underrated one is Neo. He wrote everything that came out of his mouth. And you see him writing for other people. So, I really love songwriters. Quincy Jones, is another one. Take it back. But that's really where my passion has always been. And so with the novels, a song is a story. So all right. And see, here's the thing: when you got aspirations and dreams, and you want to do things, and they don't go the way you want, well, you don't stop. You find another avenue to use it. So I ain't get these songs out to singers or sing them myself. But here I am writing novels, so I'm using it different. I'm still telling stories.
Oh yeah, hey man, I totally agree, man. Because to me, that's what makes the song. That's what makes music timeless. When you're listening to a song and it touches you, like it's a song by Marvin Gaye, "If I Should Die Tonight." My mom used to listen to that song religiously. I never realized why she read it. Listened to it until I became older and listened to it. My dad was killed, and that was their song.
Wow. Okay.
So now it creates this environment in my head, just like you said. That song, it takes you somewhere, it touches you, and that song meant something. My mom, and we all did. You from the 70s, so my mom and I used to stand on her feet and we would dance. And now when I hear that song, so you're right, man. This is why, again, the imagination, the heart, the person, and it puts our young, old, and everybody, the old and young, and everybody in between, in a better place. And so, yeah. So, when did you say, okay, enough with the, okay, I've done the poetry, because you probably, it sounds like you said, I'm too mature for this poetry thing. That was high school, right? And then the songwriting thing, like, you got the poor man's pad. Y'all don't know about that. We were in the 80s, we had to be innovative. See, this is, again, with the writing and the reading and the innovation, I keep telling y'all, man. And then, now, with the one novel that is almost, it's gonna be done by the end of the year. It's gonna be done by the end of the year. It's gonna be done by the end of the year. I'm putting that on you. And now you're starting to write stories. What was the motivation?
Man, so I like I said, I'm going on 20 years married, and early in my marriage, only two people really knew I was writing this way: my wife and my brother Demetrius. And she would always say, "You gonna finish one of those books one day?" Not in a negative way, but motivation. And he would always, get a little voice and say, "You got that book done yet? You got that book done?" So probably I would say about 2014 is when I got serious. But you know what? I went down kind of like you say a wormhole. I kept getting all these different inspirational stories. So if you look at my laptop on my drive, I got about 8 stories going. But to get it finished and release Priscilla, the pandemic made a big difference because, I'm in banking. I'm semi-customer facing, so we had to go home, last March. They sent us home, and that took away a lot of the commute. If anybody's familiar with Chicago, South Side, I used to work in Rosemont.
Oh, okay.
So, so every day, I'm 3 hours in the car minimum. You know what I'm saying? So, and that took that away. So, I always like to write on the weekends, but then I found this extra time to spend time with the family and write during the week too. Not being so drained when I logged out instead of getting off the highway and coming home.
Right.
So, I mentioned my brother Demetrius. He was the inspiration, part of the inspiration getting Priscilla done. We were just talking around the summertime, June, July, and just, we lost some people too in the last 4 years, significant family members, and it's been rough for everybody. And we were just talking, because I'm sure you probably agree, it's all this, okay, it was government and it's fake and COVID
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But the reality of it all, it affected everybody tremendously and it changed everybody's life. So we were on the phone, we didn't know what was coming in 2021, 2022. So we were reflecting and forecasting the future.
Mm-hmm,
And he wants to start a business, which he's getting it going now. I'm so proud of him. But I said, I'm gonna finish that book, man. And he said, well, kind of a challenge. Well, we should be looking at reviewing that by Thanksgiving. This was the summer about July. And I'll be honest, Priscilla was one of those books that was not even halfway done. But you can't challenge me. You can't challenge me. So I said, you know what? All right, I bet. In the week of Thanksgiving, I texted him a screenshot of the final word count and said done. And he was like, what? So and I just the inspiration just struck. And I'm telling you, it wrote itself.
Okay. Since it wrote itself, tell the people what it's about and help them, make them go get it. Ben, Joe, Rhonda, Big Illinois, I need y'all to get this book.
Yeah, go get it. So basically, it starts with a story of a young girl. She's born into the world. She's born in 1968. So another thing I like to do when I write fiction is, everything in the story is made up. It's fiction. But I like to place my characters in real life, situations or timelines, right? So, their story is not real, but around them, this stuff happened for real. So she's born actually the night that King was assassinated. I give that up, for the people who haven't bought it. So that kind of grabs you, and then you follow her life. She loses people significant to her, and she becomes an orphan. And then she has to get raised by an aunt, like a lot of us in our family have. And with that relationship, things start happening to her that makes her make choices as really young, like teenager, which we shouldn't have to go through, but it actually happens a lot in the Black community. You'll find, people 12, 13 living like adults because their parents working all day, or maybe their parents struggling with things, So it's just the way it is. And I want to take her story, and as you follow it, it's so suspenseful and thrilling because she's making these choices, and as a reader, you're saying, "No, don't do that. Why would you do that?" But what I set up is, as you go through the story, she makes this choice, and then it looks like she's in the clear, but then it reveals something else that's another obstacle, and she makes another choice, and it snowballs. But as you get through it, 25 chapters, 106,000 words of it, she overcomes, and she finally sees light and kind of just recognizes who she is as she becomes an adult. It follows her life. It tracks her life into her early 20s. And she overcomes things and realizes who she is and what those choices meant to her. And then there'll be a book, too, that follows up as her as an adult.
Let me tell you how why that book touches me. That story right there touches me. 2 years after this Priscilla person was born, my father died.
Oh, no. Wow.
April 4th, 1970.
Wow.
And I was making, that story is my story.
Yeah.
Because I've made some questionable decisions. I'm college educated, no background, no nothing. And through the grace of God, I was able to navigate through those pitfalls. So people, that is your story. We consistently complain that it's not enough of our stories being made in Hollywood. It's not enough of us being represented on TV. But people like my man Jay Jerome is representing us and writing. And guess why you should buy his book? Because Star Wars is the way George Lucas saw it. Close Encounters of the Third Kind is the way Steven Spielberg saw it. Malcolm X is the way Spike Lee saw it. Priscilla is the way he wrote it, but when you read it, it's the way you see it. And each and every one of us can have a book. We can have a book club, read the exact same 1,026 words.
Yeah.
We read those same 1,026 words. We'll have a different take from each one of us.
106,000.
106,000. Oh, okay, my bad. 106,000. The same 106,000 words. And we will walk away with a different experience, and that's what we need to be focusing on. Again, man, brothers like you and other writers, y'all are the vanguard of the community because y'all are taking our stories, introducing them to the world, and introducing hope to young people. The reason I bring that up is this. You mentioned that you were self-published. Tell us about that journey.
Oh man. Okay. So this is. I'm glad you asked that, and it's to go into my other two books before Priscilla, which are business handbooks, and they're smaller, about 100 pages each. So self-publishing is, if anything you get into, you want to do your research, right? You don't want to look at memes. You don't want to look at Facebook posts and Instagram. You want to do some real hardcore research. So I started researching. You have the traditional publishing where you write a great book and everybody thinks it's great. Your editor thinks it's great. You try to shop it, and now you're waiting 4 years before you get a book deal or somebody says they're ready to release your book. Well, self-publishing changed that game with, Amazon is doing it. I publish through Amazon Kindle, and I publish through Ingram Spark, which Ingram has always been publishing hard copies, and they looked over at the self-publishing and said, we got to get a piece of that. So they do it, and then I publish through Draft to Digital for ebooks. So 3 platforms where you can get the book anywhere. But I started about 2017 with 2 business handbooks. One for the interview process, basically takes you through why are you even looking for a job, what do you do to prepare for the interview, what do you do in the interview, and after you get the job, is this it? And then another one is management principles for real world. I've been a manager in banking, supervisor, not the classroom stuff when you got 12 people you managing and they all older than you, and how and some of them calling in just to go to parties and all this type of stuff. How do you deal with that? So that's what that handbook is for. But I use those to get my feet wet in self-publishing because I saw that there was these different platforms. You got to write the manuscript, get it edited, and have the right files to load them, PDF, JPEG for the images. And I started with those on Amazon to, first, one, figure out how to self-publish. And 2, I had all this 2 decades of experience in corporate banking and then the master's degree. I want to share it, because success is not just about how much money you can put in your bank and how far you can go or climb the ladder or do this. You want to try to, share it with people. Why have a lot of knowledge and experience if you just keep it bottled up? So that was part of it too. I want to share, my knowledge from working and experience. But I use those to experience it, how it feels to self-publish on Amazon. And I saw, okay, it was pretty successful. And maybe in the future I might do business training. That's the plan for those. But that set me up to, get ready to do my fiction, because fiction writing was the dream. If I could stop working, I'm a fiction writer and it pays all my bills. And I think I'm going to get there. I really do.
I do too. And I'm not just saying that, man, because I'm a firm believer in speaking things into existence. I consistently say on the show and in real life, we are gods having a human experience. And if you consider yourself a god having a human experience, not the God, because, I always tell people to listen, not listen. Yep. Don't just hear the words, listen. Not the God, we are gods having, we say things and they happen. I said 5 years ago, I'm going to have a show, and ta-da, here I am. So I need people to listen to my brother, Jay Jerome, listen to what he did. Actually, people are listening to you and they hear you say business, business, business. Well, this is what I want you to realize. Shout out to my sister Ray Ray. She just entered the building. This is what I want people to realize. You said this is a management book, this is a training book, and this is a business book. Guess what? You just taught people how to publish their own music on iTunes. I'm going to manage myself. This is the business around the music industry, and this is how I get things taken care of. See, we can't just look at things as they, we must have lateral thought. Yeah, I could talk to you about your books and business. We started off talking about creative writing books. Now, you've put yourself in a position to teach people how to not go to work, how to create their own business and not rely on someone. Again, as I stated at the top of the show, we must take ourselves out of this mentality of, hey, they got to do this and give us jobs. No, we need to buy Jay Jerome's book and figure out how to use that money that I mentioned. Maybe you got it from a iffy place, but use that money to buy Jerome's book and use that information to elevate you and the people around you. As you stated, it's not a, guess what? If I go to the corner store tonight and put that $2 down and win the Powerball, who wants to be rich alone? And who wants to take care of all their friends? Unless your friends have something to give. And you must read things like Jerome's book. You must listen to Jerome. You must watch, read Priscilla, and put Priscilla in a position that it could be a song, as J. Jerome used to do. So if you want to be, I don't know nothing about no R&B. It's like, man, these girls ain't no good. These men ain't no good. You know some rap? Yeah, I love rap. Make you a rap song about that. Again, man, we must use everything that we have to be as successful as we can be. Otherwise, we will suffer the consequences. Yep. Man, so now you got the business book, you got the management book, you got the unfinished book, and the Priscilla. What's next?
Well, what's next is book 2 for Priscilla. That's going to be this year.
Okay.
It's gonna be this year. And my plan is to just kind of what they say, flood the market. Flood the market as a self-published author fiction. So, like I said, if you look at my drive, you got the 7 or 8 stories, and they're not finished. Well, they're going to get finished now. They are actually getting finished. So, Priscilla 2 will come out. And, you know, like I said, she overcame some things. Now you'll follow her as an adult, you know, and everything's fine. But then decisions come up again. You know, we don't just make all decisions and then we fine for the rest of our life. That's just not how it goes.
No, it does not work that way.
You know, so that's my plan. You know, I'm hone in on fiction writing. You know, and then you know later on down the line in a couple of years, I'm going to get back into training. I really wanted to do the business training face to face, but COVID changed that. So, you know, I'm pivoting. I'm going to pivot and get it online and do things of that nature. But I'm going to focus on fiction writing for the next couple of years and flood the market and get everybody to know J. Jerome and his writing style.
Okay, man. I really appreciate that. I need you to tell the people how to get in contact with you, how to buy your books. I got my man, number one Chief Rocket Jerry Vernon in the building. Thank you, brother, on Built for This Network. Tell them how to get in contact with you. And then before I end, when I'm about to end the show, I want you to hang in there because I got a couple ideas I want to share with you.
Absolutely.
And now you stuck being friends with me now, man. You're in the family. You're in the family now. We're gonna be bugging you. We're gonna be bugging you. Somebody gonna say, "Hey, man, I want to write my story." I got J. Jerome for you.
You know what? I got people approaching me, and I told them, "Hey, I will write with you and help you. I'll ghostwrite. You know, I'll help people. I ain't gonna be stingy with this." You know, because people have been receptive to Priscilla. I mean, some of the stuff from, oh my God, this is a riveting book, to somebody saying this could be used as inspiration for young kids, you know, and I didn't even think about that. I just wanted to show the struggle and show making decisions to overcome. But I got that response. So, you know, I'm going to keep going. But to reach me, if you want to reach me, jjeromebooks@gmail.com. Anybody, you know, send me an email, shoot me an email, and we link up that way, and we continue it. I give you my number. We can text, talk. If you want advice, I can help you with that. And then jjeromebooks.com is my website. And for Priscilla, you can buy it worldwide on Apple, Google, Amazon. If you're over in Italy and Australia, I got it over there at ebook. You can buy this book in Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Target. Go online, order it today, and you can get it shipped about 2 days. You know, and I even see on Amazon there's some other bookstores, but you know, I got it priced at $19.99. But you know, other bookstores can buy it in bulk. They might have a couple of dollars off. That's fine. I'm getting my royalties from it. So you know, but you can get it anywhere. You know, type in the basic anywhere you can get a book. Type in Priscilla J. Jerome, you will find.
My man. With that being said, man, thank you for being a part of the show. I need you to hold on, and then I'm about to do the closing salvos, and then I'll be right with you.
All right.
Peace out, man. I need y'all to support my brother J. Jerome. It's an awesome book. I need y'all to be with it. Holla at your boy. With that being said, man, as I stated, man, this is an ongoing situation. We will not fix our community in one day, but we do have it here at Built for This Network. and End of the Bench podcast hosted by your man HRap B. I need you first and foremost hit the like button. Like. I need you to subscribe. Go to Spreaker.com. Look up Built for This Network. Subscribe over there. If you want to be a podcaster, reach out to your boy at HRap_B or email me directly. HRap_B at theendofthebench.com. Go to theendofthebench.com and subscribe there. I want you to subscribe on YouTube, Build for This Network, and then come here. Build and Destroy, the End of the Bench, Build and Destroy. I'm here every week. Well, not next Saturday. I'll be in Texas celebrating the Juneteenth holiday. I need each and every one of you guys to find somebody who looks like us. I told y'all, inspired by my sister Laree Daniel Favors, we're going to do Black Appreciation Day 3 times a month. Hey, on the 17th, it's the next day. The 7th, the 17th, and the 27th of every month. How about this? Since we need to support black businesses on the 7th, the 17th, and the 27th of each month, how about this? Everybody buy Jay Jerome's book on the 17th of the month. How about that? Everybody buy our brother Jay Jerome's book on the 17th of the month. You've done your black, basically it's a black love situation. We loving each other. We're going to pull each other up. We're going to do what we have to do to get things done every day of your life. With that being said, I hope my sister Kathleen has been watching. She's up next. And we got a couple other people in the mix. Man, thank you for tuning in. And as I do every week, I want to salute the Podfather. He goes by the name of Reggie O'Shea. He's an ancestor now. He has transitioned, but he inspired me and thousands of other brothers and sisters to do what we're doing. And he Combat Jack, Reggie O'Shea, and I always salute him by using his closing salvo. Dream your dreams and man up and woman up and live those dreams, because life without dreams flows in black and white. Life with dreams flows in technicolor surround sound. I want to salute to my brother Tariq Nasheed, Nori, for Drink Champs, Talib Kweli for the People's Party, Ray Grady for Alpha Male, the Zoe Williams Show, Corey Holcomb, 5150, Craig Fax, that's Craig with a K. I want to salute the sister Heather B, Clay Kane, Laree Daniel Favors, salute our elder, Joe Madison, my main man, Baba, Dr. Greg Carr, and I want to salute Craig Lamont King and Queen Mother Karen Hunter, and anybody else out there who's doing what they can do to uplift our people with their platform. Thank you for doing it. Continue to do it. We will continue to support you. And as I used to say something at the end of the show, but I've changed it up. Instead of saying, I used to say, what I'm going to say is this: do something before something is done to you. This your man HRap B. 2 fingers, 1 word, and
We are built for this network, for the strong, not the weak.